The ruling caste of indigenous reptilian consider themselves to be the genuine natives of the earth and humans to be squatters. The reptilian stands between 8 feet tall and, as expected, has the look of a reptile. They too are erect.
is the high-intensity heat bomb.
That's right. They have enough concentrated heat to blow up our planet instantly.
What would you do?
I would fight.
And you?
Fight.
I am your hostess, Christy from Flip City Magazine. Uh, if you don't know what Creative Chaos is, it is a show dedicated to shining a spotlight on fascinating people creating fantastic things outside the mainstream. And we're doing something super early tonight. I gotta say, what is up to my friend Ben? Where are you? He's saying hi to
Ben, you're my friend, Ben, you're my friend, you're the best old Ben there's ever been, never been a Ben like Ben.
Hi, Ben. Thank you for showing up. Enjoy the show. And also, Ben, I'm so happy that all those magazines arrived uh, safely to Australia. And I hope you've had a moment to enjoy them. I know you've been reading the PDFs and everything, but it is definitely, Flip City is definitely something to behold in print, especially with all of your wonderful lead parody art. Thank you, Ben. All right. So we know what creative chaos is, but for people that have never been here before, you don't know that I am so cool that my sidekick is Batman. So let's bring Batman in. Hi, Batman.
What's going on, Christy?
Oh, just being busy. Never
Keeping
a
busy.
moment.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Oh, always got to keep busy. That's it. It's all about keeping busy.
Yes. So you're still down in Florida.
Yes, as you can see, I'm still down in Florida. And one more week, unfortunately, and then I got to get back to New York. I got shit to do and got to take care of business.
Yes. Well, I'm glad that you have the opportunity and the flexibility to go down to Florida so often and hang
Thank
out
you.
with mom.
Exactly, exactly. Well, that's the point. It's to be here and hang out with mom. I'm gonna miss her on Mother's Day because we're heading out, so gonna miss that.
Well, you had an early Mother's Day. How about
I
that?
had an early Mother's Day. Indeed, we did.
All
Yes,
right.
indeed.
Well, so you
Wait,
have a very specific thing to say.
I was just going to get to that. You almost cut me off. Thank you. Remember, guys, we need you to like, subscribe, ring that bell, and share, share, share.
Do
Ding,
it.
ding, ding, dong. And if you're on pill, hit the red pill and throw us some gold pill love. We always like that. Thank you very much.
And also, just to say what's up to everybody that's in chat, we've got our wonderful mod Vulcan Lives from the very beginning saying, here we go. And of course, we've already said hello to Ben. And then over on Pilled, Nat Rain and Ghost Pepper checked in super early. So I don't know if he's back yet. So those are all the people that have checked in.
Ghost Pepper had a great show last week with
Yeah.
Cosmac. What was the name? What was the name of the band? Oh, Atomic Annie. He had a great show with Atomic Annie. I watched that one.
I heard it was going to happen and put it in my brain, but not my calendar, and totally forgot. So I felt bad because I love Mal from Atomic Annie, and I also love Ghost Pepper very much. But
Yeah,
I missed it. But I think I'm going to go back and watch the replay, which I never watch replays of lives, but I think I
I,
need to.
I I normally don't either unless it's like super important. So it is an important show. It was really good, especially since they talked about making a comic book about Atomic Annie. And there was
Oh,
a great little short that I think was done by my buddy, Swords of Michael, but I don't know if it was his art. I'll have to go back and check. But hello, Vulcan lives. Vulcan lives.
lives,
Vulcan
lives.
lives. Lives. Vulcans live. He's out there. The legendary Baruch. Yes, I am. But that's
And then
besides the point.
Pops from Madness Comic checking in. Shout out to Madness Comic. And actually, that's a perfect segue into the promo for tonight. As everybody knows, Creative Chaos wouldn't happen without Flip City Magazine. I wouldn't be hosting this show. Um, but we've got a collaboration that happens quarterly. It's kind of a nonstop thing that we're doing, but we promote it when important things are happening. So we recently did a collaboration with the live draw streamers from the Madness Comic live draw streams, and we've got the poll open. So if we can just take a look at the poll and see how we're doing. We opened the poll during Creative Chaos last week. The theme is Mirror, Mirror on the Wall, where the artists draw the reflection of a celebrity as their true essence. We've got 466 votes. I couldn't tell you every single one of those is legit, but feels good to have 466 votes.
That's
So
wild. We
it
we,
is,
we wanted to hit 100 by last Friday, and we've surpassed that 3 times over. I love it.
yes, we're getting close on closing in like 5 times that 100 that was my
Amen.
goal. So you guys, there's a lot of good options there. Whoever wins the contest is going to get a free quarter page ad run in Flip City Volume 25. So it's a valuable thing. And we just got our diamond PO back. So besides our regular subscriber list and the people who back our campaign, also, 100 copies will be spread across the United States, Canada, or any other country that happen to order them. A hundred of them. We're gonna get that
Nice.
number up. over the next year because we're going to be doing a lot of marketing to comic book shops to go take a look at Diamond and pick up the latest edition of Flip City. So,
Thank you,
um,
Diamond Distribution.
thank you, Diamond. I know everybody likes a lot of indies like talking crap about Diamond, but they haven't done us wrong. And we're
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I just sent out an invoice, our first invoice for payment from them. So we'll see if they actually do a net 30 or if I'm gonna have to, do some collections.
All right. Well, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
But in the
And I'll
meanwhile,
tell the truth. If it's hard, I'll let you guys know if it's hard to collect. And thank you, Vulcan Lives, for dropping the poll. To go vote, you go to the meg.tv. Vulcan dropped the direct link, but you can just go to the meg.tv and there's a banner right there that says voting open. It's hard to miss. So um, that's how you can do it without clicking the link. All right, Bruce, are you ready to meet our guest tonight?
yeah, I just pulled up the poll myself. Even though I've already voted, I just wanted to show everybody. If a tech tard like me can do it, anybody can. The Meg.tv,
Good
guys.
point.
There it is.
Good point. Well, I appreciate that. And tonight we've got a good one for you because it's not just a regular old comic book creator. Deece is an author and international touring comedian. He also hosts the Social Hour, which has been going on for a very long time, you guys. A cool podcast that I was a guest on recently. And his comic book is called Kill Stan, which the second edition is currently funding on Kickstarter. And we're going to take a look at the trailer for Kill Stand 2 and Deece on the other side.
Remember, it's Kill.
Exciting. Hello. Where's my guest? There's Deece and the Batman.
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?
Good to
Good.
see you.
How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm reeling a little bit. I had a rough day. I had an appointment with someone earlier at noon, which they missed, and then they text me later and said they were really sorry they missed the appointment, but they thought that noon meant 3. So I think I have to kill myself or kill them because I can't live in a world where people think noon means 3. I don't know what Mandela effect thing we slipped into, but
It's
yeah,
called time zones.
yeah. No, I'm like, there's not. I believe in the multiverse, string theory, quantum physics, but there is not a universe out there where anyone says noon and they mean 3 fucking p.m. I know that for sure. But beyond that, I'm doing well. Thank you. We've got an American Pope. Praise Jesus. So we're doing good.
Amen.
We're doing well.
I
Listen.
know that was the thing that I think slapped the hardest today. The American Pope thing. I was like, "Oh, really?"
Listen, Jesus is a big fan of America. Those other places, a little brown for him. Let's keep it. Look, we're in America here, you know.
Hey, go easy on the brown thing. My fiance is a Peruvian.
Oh, well, I'm Mexican. I mean, I converted. Sorry, can we edit that out? I don't want ice kicking down my door. When Yeah, it's pretty close to the border in Texas. I'd be easy to deport. Um, hmm.
Yeah, in one of the stand-up things that I was able to find, through your press kit, I believe, you had a lot of Mexican jokes in
I
there.
do. I do make light of it, but I make light of everything, so I have no sacred cows.
In-
All right.
Indeed. And just to say, Cosmic Grandpa, our wonderful producer, chimes in, Christie's noon, because I am West Coast, is his 3 p.m. So it
Yeah.
does happen.
Well, yeah. Except we're both in Texas. It's the
Okay, okay.
it's not. It wasn't a time zone thing. He just thought that when some with noon colloquially meant 3 p.m., not 12, for some goddamn reason.
We in our family, we actually have named that McDonald time because that's my family name, and that it literally is everybody comes about 3 hours late to everything.
Yeah. Well,
We're getting better.
here's listen. I'm deporting these MS-13 gang members is one thing, but I think we have a bigger bane in this country, and that's people who believe 3 p.m. means noon. Get those people the fuck out of this country before the Salvadorian gang members. That's what I say. At least they're bringing some fun with some fentanyl and cocaine into this country. We give them something to do. Those other people are just screwing up my appointments.
So did you wind up meeting with them or not at all?
No, I don't know. And I deleted his phone number and threw that phone into the river. I changed my name. I shaved off my fingerprints so he could never track me down again. I don't want that kind of negativity in my life.
Too funny. Too
You
much.
know, I mean, it is. There's something to be said about the people that you allow into your life.
Yeah, it is
So
true. Yes.
interesting. Well, I mean, I wish I knew who this was so I could clip this whole tirade and send it to them.
Yeah, well, there. If my people have done the right work, he's at the bottom of a river. So,
Oh, you've got people.
yeah. Oh, we've got people. Come on, like I said, I'm Mexican. We got people. There's lots of us. And they can't track most of us, it turns out. So,
Because all the Dems are hiding you.
that's right. Hey, listen, you gotta assign us numbers to find us. So,
Well, hey, Deece, on that note, even though I believe we've already gotten to know you quite well, with that, we do have a segment here at the
yes,
beginning that Batman does. It's a real quick, rapid fire type of question and answer thing, and it's called Fanboy for Us. We're going to get into that.
let's roll. Let's go.
All right. So, Deece, I'm going to ask you a couple of quick questions. First thing that comes to your mind, I want you to answer as best you can, okay? First
Okay.
of all, foremost, your favorite food.
My favorite food is I gotta say Mexican food. I love Mexican food. I gotta if it's mole, if it's done right.
Mole has got to be one of my favorite. Chicken
Oh,
mole. Oh my God. I
when it's
actually
done
have
right.
when
When
it's
it's
done
done
right.
right.
I have
Uh,
a family friend. She's from Mexico City, and she made a chicken mole for us that was out of this world. And it's very hard to get a good mole. You're absolutely right, but
yeah,
fantastic.
más sabroso, less dolce.
Right, exactly. Too much, too much dulce, and it kills it.
Yeah,
It's too
yeah,
sweet. It
good.
doesn't work. Very good. All right. Now, favorite drink, alcoholic or non-alcoholic, or one of each? Doesn't
Oh,
matter.
I don't drink anymore. I gave it up 6 years ago, so
Good for you.
probably whiskey is my favorite one. But I can't. Just no. I really now all I drink is I just live off coffee and spite these days. Uh, so really coffee, and this is the most boring answer ever, but I love plain, no flavored carbonated water. like just plain soda water, no flavor. Because I'm Catholic, we don't deserve good things. Uh, so like I got every time I order a soda water at a restaurant, they're always like, "Do you want like a lime in that?" I'm like, "Oh no, we don't we don't deserve lime. No, just regular. Come on, just regular is fine. I'm pushing it with bubbles in my water."
Yep. And Vulcan Lives wants to let you know that he is very impressed because 6 years is quite an achievement. So
Thank,
congratulations from
thank.
Vulcan Lives.
To be fair, I do still smoke weed, do mushrooms, heroin, and butt chug peyote occasionally, but no alcohol. It's not for me. I'm strictly sober.
No ayahuasca?
Oh yeah, yeah. Just when I feel, just when I need to be enlightened again. Just when I need Hollywood to think I'm enlightened again. And if there's like the court case that comes up involving children under 18, you got to go to Peru and feel,
Okay. There we go. All right. Favorite artist, any genre, could be film, could be artwork, could be whatever. Favorite artist.
Pamela Anderson. She did great work in that film with Tommy Lee. Really, really amazing. Just, I mean, should have won an Oscar. I should have won a Tony. Tony might have been the next guy. The the No, I was Stanley Kubrick. I'm a big Stanley Kubrick fan. I love film, and Stanley Kubrick is visually, I think, one of the most amazing. He's my favorite filmmaker. Clockwork Orange is my favorite film of all time, and he's a big influence of mine in comic books and the way I set up panels and stuff. Um, I will say honorable mention to Chuck Palahniuk, the author. He wrote like most notably Fight Club is what most people know him for, but he's got a lot better books out there than Fight Club. He's big influence too.
So why did they only make a movie out of Fight Club if he's got such great books?
They've made a couple other actually. His best book, Choke, they made into a movie, but the movie sucked. Um, it's unfortunate because it starred Sam Rockwell also, who's a killer actor.
Love Sam Rockwell.
But it was just a bad movie. They didn't really do it justice, and I think one of his other movies they made into or books they made into a movie also. They're a little tough. The subject matter is very tough in his books, and it's very dark, very cynical, and I mean, like to say that Fight Club was like the most hopeful of his books is, that gives you an idea of what.
So he likes writing a lot of psychologically twisted books.
Yeah, yeah. Well, also he's very his social commentary is really, really unique and interesting. He's kind of like, have you ever read any Kurt Vonnegut?
Long time ago, back in high school, yeah.
So he's very, very kind of in that vein of Kurt Vonnegut with cynicism and satire of social commentary, and really biting in what he's saying in his books, but with a very crazy delivery system.
Very cool. And Vulcan Lives also happens to like Sam Rockwell as an
Just
actor.
like Sam Rockwell, the guy's a fucking national treasure.
Yeah. For somebody who's got some really funky teeth, he actually can act.
See, I didn't know he was British.
Yeah, you don't until he like lets it slip. But we're going from that to do we say favorite movie? Your favorite movie?
It is well, I just said it. Clockwork Orange is my favorite. Although the movie I've watched the most in my life is Jaws, which is up there too as one of my favorite films of all time.
Well,
Wow.
let me ask you this: Is Jaws one of the movies you've watched so much because it happened to be on VHS and in your house when you were a kid?
Actually, no, we never owned it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no. I just loved, even as a kid, like I loved that movie, and I used to always rent it over and over again. And then, in the age, I had it on DVD eventually when I was old enough, and kind of on my own, bought it on DVD. I just think it's a perfect film. Like it is 100% a perfect film, and very rewatchable. The original blockbuster. It's like a horror movie with the shark as the villain. Just the teaser of like never seeing the shark really until the end. And yeah, it's a perfect film in my opinion. Very, very rewatchable.
And I have to be honest with you, I've never watched it.
Oh, I gotta go. This is
You've
crazy.
never seen.
How have you never fucking seen
I
Jaws?
don't like being in the water because of Jaws. Everybody else around, everybody I know have seen it, but I can't. I used to go to the beach all the time as a kid. I go to the beach, when I was in college with my friends, but I wouldn't go in the water because of
Yeah, but
Jaws.
I mean, look at statistics, Bruce. Like statistically speaking, I think last year there were 8 shark attacks in the world, and 3 of them were fatal. Right?
Well, guess where they were all located, though?
A lot of them were in Florida. That's true. But Florida's a nightmare. You're doing it to yourself if you're in Florida.
Well, I'm landlocked. I'm in Gainesville.
Oh well,
Go Gators.
Yeah.
So I'm landlocked, so I'm okay. I'm happy with that. I have a swimming pool. I'm very happy. I can go in my pool. I don't need the beach. But to be honest with you, a lot of shark attacks have also occurred where I live back on Long Island. And I live on the South Shore, which is where a lot of the shark attacks have occurred.
Do people actually go in the water in that area?
Yeah, they do, stupidly. But hey, whatever. God bless you. Okay.
Like, let's go to the beach in New York.
Yeah. There's North Shore and there's South Shore. North Shore is safer than the South Shore. But South Shore is all sand. North Shore is all rocky. So people prefer going to the South Shore, and they'll take their chances going in the water.
Yeah.
If you got to go pretty far out to get bit by a shark out there. But, I have friends that surf 300 days a year, and they've said they've never encountered a shark. Yeah. Okay, whatever.
I don't know. I grew up in Southern California, and I went to the beach all the time, and I never had any problems with sharks. But also now, with like drone footage, they have it over the beach all the time where Huntington Beach, San Clemente, all where I grew up, going to the beach, and there's people out there and they realize that, there's just sharks around people all the time. Like but they just don't bother anyone, so but there's like sharks out there everywhere all the time.
It's because they know the vibes in California are so mellow. Like they don't want to ruin it. I way more often see like the surfers in Southern California hanging out with the dolphins and stuff.
Yeah.
That's Southern California surfing.
The dolphins, those are sexual predators of the ocean. You got to watch out.
I've heard
those guys.
Horny fish, huh?
Yeah, that's the Harvey Weinstein of Atlantis right there. Those guys.
They like getting high too.
That's true. They've got this little puffer fish they bounce around to get high. They're actually like really manipulative. The male dolphins actually like withhold food and stuff like that from female dolphins if they won't have sex with them. Yeah. And they'll actually certain types of dolphins actually like pimp out their females to other males too. They like get shiny objects. Like the male dolphin will bring them like a shiny object, and they're like, all right, you can bang the whore. Yeah, it's crazy.
There you go.
Yeah. So.
All right. We have one more family for us.
Favorite music.
I grew up in South Central LA in the 80s, so I'm a West Coast hip hop guy, old school West Coast hip hop.
All right. Who's some of your favorite artists from then?
I grew up in Long Beach, so Snoop Dogg, love Snoop Dogg, Ice Cube, Dr. Dre, Corrupt, Daz, Nate Dogg, that whole kind of G-Funk era, early 90s hip hop is where it's at for me.
There you go. Very cool. And now with all this crazy stupidity coming out with P. Diddy, look where that's taking it.
Yeah, well, did he? I think he did, turns out.
Diddy did.
Yeah, did he? He definitely did. So, he came back. He was in an island, like in the Caribbean somewhere, and his hubris is like, now I'll come back. I was like, man, you should have stayed. You're going down. You and R. Kelly are going to be sharing a cell soon.
Yeah, they grabbed him up, didn't they?
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
So
no, I think he's going to be sharing a cell with the guy who claims to have not killed Epstein. But hey, who knows?
yeah,
The ex-prison guard who wound up getting locked up himself.
it's listen. I mean, cameras go out all the time, Bruce, all the time.
Yes, they do. It's very
Just
sad.
very
That's the very
It's really
most
sad when
opportune
cameras
moment.
go out like that. I mean, oh my God, what happened?
Stop touching yourself.
it's so they're just unreliable. And then people hang themselves to make it look like they were strangled. They break their neck in a way that could only be done if you were strangled, not hung. And that's just their right as an American, because we had and now our new American Pope will ratify that. So I think we're great. We're doing good. Things are great. There's no such thing as pedophiles. Don't worry. Um,
We're going to have so much fun with you at the wheel of.
your kids are safe.
Conspiracy.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But don't worry, that's a ways down the way.
It's a ways down the show, but
And I'm sure you came on this show, Deece, to actually kind of pimp your comic a little bit, like a dolphin.
Yeah, pimp my dolphin comic book. Maybe that'll be my next book, some dolphin sex comic book. Like hey, look, the risky stuff sells on Kickstarter. So
I've heard. Yeah.
it's actually disheartening, because I'll go through and look, and I look at my Kickstarters, and my fund, we do well, but we don't blow it out of the water. And then I look at these other ones that are look like good books, and then anything with like half a titty hanging out is like 10,000% funded within 3 days.
Yep.
yeah.
Which is crazy, because I'm like, you guys, you're already on the internet. Just Google boobs and hit safe search off. You can even Google cartoon boobs. I promise you, they're on there. Not that I checked, but maybe.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I kind of followed a journey of an independent comic creator from doing their regular comics and seeing how they were funding. And, they were doing okay. But then they decided to start doing boob books, blew it out of the water.
It's crazy.
And that's basically all they're doing now. And I'm like, ooh, sad.
Sex sells. To this day, sex sells.
I actually have an idea that's like, on its surface looks like a boob book, and it will be kind of, but it's like more like a comedy satire about boob books.
Yeah.
That I want to do, and I hope my goal is to like do it, and then try to get some of those people over to like what I actually do. So we'll see, but it's a
Yeah.
it's
Well, it is a technique because I did have somebody on Creative Chaos probably about a year ago now. Jesse Blaze, um, Snyder, who did exactly that. Did a satire boob book, and
Yeah.
the boobs were like freaking gigantic, and he did pretty good.
Yeah, well, yeah. If anyone can do giant boobs, it's a guy named Blaze. That's what I know.
Exactly.
So but yeah, my book, Kill Stan #2, just came out. We debuted it last Saturday on Free Comic Book Day. So #2 is out. It's available for order on our website, inferno.earth. Just go to the shop. We've got all the books up there. But yeah, working on #3 and trying to get it out there, get people to check this thing out.
Well, can you give everybody a brief description of what Kill Stan is?
Yeah, so the book is about a guy who wants to end his own life, so he decides to do it through vigilantism. So kind of suicide by vigilantism. It's on the surface, it's kind of a neo-noir crime thriller, but that's just kind of like a lost leader to trick people into getting it. Really, it's like a character piece about this guy and his personal journey of loss and trauma and the crazy things we do when we feel like we have nothing left to live for.
All right.
Yeah. So
now I'm bummed.
Yeah. A real uplifting story. No, I mean, I wanted to tell this story because I felt like I wrote it at the beginning of 2020. So like, kind of early COVID, when just shit was a disaster, right? And you know, people's lives are being ruined financially, physically, spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, however you want to, it just ruined a lot of people for a lot of reasons. Um, and also, another comedian, my best friend, had just taken his own life in January. So that was kind of on my mind. And I started thinking about like watching people really kind of spin out of control and not, thinking about long term how this was going to affect people and bounce if they could ever bounce back. And just kind of made me realize like what would people do if they really wanted to end it all and really felt like they had like it didn't matter, no stakes. I don't care if I live or die. How crazy can this get? And so I kind of started putting together the piece of that story and came up with the whole thing. And yeah, really kind of once I started writing it, it just kind of really, really came alive as to the pieces of it and what I wanted to tell. Because, it's one of those things where I think we all have felt like we have nothing left to live for at a certain point. At a certain point, we've all felt like at the end of our rope. And we can all relate to not knowing what happens next or if it matters or where to turn. And this is kind of just pushing that to the nth degree on how it manifests.
Right. And so how far into COVID did you start writing it then?
Oh, I think I started writing it in early 2020. We were probably a couple months in, maybe.
Yeah,
Okay.
they locked us all down on March 20th.
Yeah, it
Day
was.
that lives in infamy.
It was probably um, it was probably around like May that I actually started writing it. I think.
So you're at an anniversary month right now.
Oh yeah, I guess so. Huh? I could go back and look. I put the date on the first draft date on the top of every script I write. Um, but yeah, a couple months into COVID, and I started writing the first issue, and I just started writing, and I had it at 12, a loose 12, and I tightened it to a finished 10. I wanted to truncate it because my goal was to make I didn't want any bloat. I didn't want any bloat, anything that we could leave on the editing floor. I wanted every panel to matter. I wanted to move a certain way, be relentless at times, have pathos at times where giving you a certain vibe, certain slowness with intent and really like intentional. Not, you read comic books now and it's like, you're just like, all right, this kind of didn't matter. You're kind of filling issues here. You're trying to get to this. Like, I want this all. Every word is important. Every panel is important. It all matters.
Well, I mean, I think it's when a comic book is done well, that's exactly why it is top tier entertainment. Because it's
Yeah,
just pure entertainment the entire time,
right.
and story and moving forward, you know. Um, wow, that just like made my next question fly out of my head.
Okay.
So you were saying that was going to be a question. I was wondering. So you're going on to number 3 very very soon here. I'm assuming you're gonna
It's
launch another campaign.
yes, yeah. We'll probably launch the campaign. What's today? Oh, we're in mid May, June. Probably 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 in about a month, I would imagine. A month, maybe something like that. Yeah, we'll probably launch another campaign or at least start get the landing page up so people can start following it. So yeah, my goal is to have number 3 in hand around, let's see, the beginning of August. So
Well, backstage we were talking very briefly about, you going to cons and, working with your artist. And you were saying, you're not able to pay his mortgage and, pay for his kids and all that yet. But you're still knocking stuff out every few months with him. I'm interested to find out like how you found your artist and how's your working relationship.
oh yeah, so there's a ton of Facebook groups for independent creators, and there's probably hundreds of them. I'm a part of 20 probably. And I just went through on a bunch of them. And I posted, I'm like, hey, I'm starting a book. This is kind of the tone I want. It's like a darker noir tone. Um, I gave a couple art samples of artists I liked, kind of the vibe I wanted for the book. And I just said, this is my email address. Send me your page rates and portfolio. And I got a bunch of emails. I distilled down from there to about, I think, 3 people that I liked. And then after that, we had a couple exchanges via email. Then I set up video calls with all of them like this to get a more comfortable gauge with them. And my artist, ended up with Felipe Sobriera, who's just an amazing artist. He was the first guy I talked to via video chat, and I already had 2 more after that. And when I was done with the call with him, I'm like, this is the guy we're gonna work together. I'm just gonna do these other 2 out of courtesy. The but and he's great. He's very talented. He works fast. He takes direction well. He gives suggestions well, and he's good at really great getting out what's in my head. I mean, to be fair, I'm very meticulous with my scripts. Like I write scripts probably more like Alan Moore than Stan Lee, meaning it's like page 1 is 4 panels. The first panel is like full wide angle shot. This character's on the left facing the point of view, blah, blah. Like I'll even draw thumbnails and stuff. I'm very intricate with the panel layout, but he's great at bringing it to life.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's something I recently watched a video by Mike Barron. He does really great videos on how to write, but he also gives tips on how to actually write comics and be able to work with your artist. And that was one of his number one tips on this recent video was actually it doesn't matter how bad of an artist you are, but you need to, if you have something in mind, you need to draw it out.
Yeah.
Even if it's stick figures, do it.
Yeah, 100%. And really, I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can do it, and it depends on what you're trying to do, But I have something very specific I'm looking for, and a specific way I want it to look. Whereas, some people oh, I'll give you a loose script and I'll let you decide what the panels look like. Whereas for me, I am giving you the number of panels. I'm probably telling you the size and shape of the panel. I'm telling you what's in the panel, and I'll often give you some breakdowns too. I do a lot of Photoshop stuff and things to give an idea of perspective and how. But he'll give suggestions sometimes, and sometimes I take them, sometimes I don't. He's given good ones. He's given ones where I'm like, I really want it to be this way. But then there's some stuff where I'm like, oh my God, that's fantastic. Yeah.
Something that I found funny because this happens with us in our own production of the magazine is somebody will want to extend something from 6 to 8 panels or from in the case of our wonderful Ben Sullivan, 6 to 8 pages. And I was talking to Mort Todd the other night because he's been in the industry since the late 80s, mid 80s. And he was saying when he was working with Steve Ditko, that Ditko would often say, not even say, he would just do it, extend something from 4 to 8 panels.
Yeah.
And he was over the moon, that he had an artist, that knew that more needed to be shown.
Yeah.
Than was actually written in.
Yeah. And, like I said, it just all depends on what you're doing, and what the final product is. Sometimes it's like a loose, kind of silly comic book, and you can be less specific. Sometimes, you need specificity. So yeah, and there's wiggle room always, but at the end of the day, my outlook is I'm paying for the comic book, so we're going to get what I want.
Well, I mean, you're the boss. You are the final, the final
No,
say, of course.
but I mean, I do tell him, I'm like, if you have an idea, I mean, let me know, or if you have input, like, and like I said, there's some stuff that he's done that he's suggested, and I'm like, yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, that's great. So.
All right, fantastic. Well, Deece, we are going to start getting into our segments, and the next segment that we're going to get into is one of my favorites. Now,
Okay.
usually I kind of go into it by saying a lot of people that I have on this stream, they're just men. They are. And usually white men. So we're just going to put you in that category because you don't look Mexican. Okay. So, and I
Tell
think
that
we
to
could.
the police.
Mhm.
I said,
I'm
tell that.
assuming. Wait, say again.
Said, tell that to the police I encounter.
I will. I'm assuming you're straight. We're going in. So we're going into this with all these assumptions. You're a
Yeah,
man,
well,
you're
I'm
straight.
actually a pansexual communist pixie, so please don't put me in a
Well,
box.
at least when you get pulled over, right?
Yeah.
Hey, headless bourgeoisie, what is up? Anyway, I have this segment. It is called Mansplain because I need to give you a platform.
Oh, ooh.
Yes,
Yeah, we don't
because
give it platforms.
you're about the most hated person on the planet. So we're gonna get into Mansplain right now. So I had a question.
Mansplaining has positively changed her life. You can see it in her eyes. These are her eyes.
Yes, those were her eyes. Well, Dee, something that we didn't even really get into, but it completely fascinates me, is you are a touring stand-up comedian.
Yes.
Now, way back in the day, like at a family event, I was making my aunt laugh, and I'm like 16. And my aunt says, Christy, you should be a stand-up comedian. You're so funny. And then my evil cousin, her daughter, is like, oh, you want to be a stand-up comedian? Make me laugh. Make me laugh. Anyway, and I never wanted to be a stand-up comedian. I just made my aunt laugh. And I'm like, screw you, whatever. But to me, it seems that choosing to be a stand-up comedian is about the most frightening, horrific choices you can make in your life. Why did you do it? And if somebody did want to become one, what should they be prepared to go through?
Yeah. Well, first of all, like it is the weirdest. It's the only career where when you tell someone it's what you do, they demand you do it on the spot.
Yes, I've heard that.
Like you're like, I do comedy for a living. And they're like, oh yeah, tell me you're not being funny right now, or tell me a joke. Like you never meet like a baker and they're like, well, what do you do? It's like, oh, I own a bakery. You're like, really? You're not making a tiramisu right now. So yeah, dude, what do you want? I'm not always like, buy a ticket. Fucking, what do you want from me? That's it's also just a cavalcade of people telling you the shittiest street jokes ever, like like memes. They like tell you a meme, and then like you can use that. I'm like, actually, I probably can't because everyone would know that it's a meme from the internet, and I would look like a fucking idiot. So, but if you want to get into comedy, one of the best things that helps it is like bad parents. A genetic propensity towards alcoholism. Those are two key elements to becoming a comedian, I feel like. And other than that, probably shame and, probably just don't do it. It's going to take away a gig from me. It is a crazy career choice. And I don't even think I don't know. It's strange because like I don't know if I like chose that I was gonna do it. I just started doing it, and then eventually it's like all I did. I wasn't like I don't know. I didn't like wake up one morning. I'm like I'm gonna be a stand-up comedian. I just started doing it, and then I just kept doing it, and then it's kind of like a
so it wasn't a life goal.
Well,
you fell into it, kind of.
Well, here's the thing. I always loved comedy. Even as a kid, I loved comedy. Like I used to, when I was really little, my parents used to, like, my mom would go to bed, my dad would pass out on the sofa drinking, and what I would do is I'd be laying on the floor of the living room in front of the TV, and I would pretend like I fell asleep. And that way my mom would leave me, and she'd just be like, "Oh, your dad will take you to bed when he goes to sleep." And then he'd pass out, and then I could pop up and I could watch TV. And I would stay up all night watching The Tonight Show or like Saturday Night Live, or they used to have this stand-up spotlight on VH1 back in the day, like in the early 90s, that Rosie O'Donnell hosted, believe it or not, back
Okay.
when she wasn't an insufferable cunt. Um, the And so, like, I always loved comedy, but I didn't know. I was just like, those people are famous. I don't know how to do it. They're famous. How could you do that? Um, and then one day I used to go to this bar in Long Beach where I lived, and they had an open mic, and I started hanging out, and then I met the guy who ran it, and he's like, "You're funny. You should try this." I'm like, "Oh, I can do this." He goes, "Yeah, anyone can. It's an open mic." So I got up there, and the next week, and it was fun, and I kept coming back and then kept doing it more, and then it just kind of you know, kept happening. I mean, if I was a kid, I would have told you I would have loved to do comedy, but I didn't know that that was like an option, right?
Well, I mean, any good parent would hide that option from their children, but it sounds like you didn't have them.
I didn't have parents growing up. Getting raised by my parents was like getting raised by two sleeping house cats. Like they were around somewhere, but you never really knew where or what they were doing. They're just kind of in the house somewhere. Every now and then you'd see one pitter down a hallway. You're like, all right, there's
Did, were you an only child, or did you grow up with siblings?
both. I'm an only. No, I had I had an older.
Like,
I'm a middle child. Which explains my problems. I have an older brother and a younger sister, and here's what's really gonna. This is the real fuck of it all. My older brother is a fundamental Baptist minister.
I saw that in your stand-up.
Yeah,
I mean, 'cause isn't that kind of the key to stand-up, or a lot of stand-up, is it actually is freaking true?
yeah. It's all the stories I talk about in my stand up are true. He's a fundamental Baptist minister, so we are diametrically opposed. We are very different people, but yeah, I mean, I just never saw it as like I didn't know it was an option or how to get to it. Really, I always wanted to be a writer. I always loved writing. It just managed, like, it took form as comedy. I think part of the reason the comedy kept going so hard is because when I started doing stand up, I was also writing my first book, and I was looking for paying writing gigs, and I found paying comedy writing gigs. And I'm like, "Oh, I can write comedy." So I started doing that and getting paid to write comedy, which encouraged me to keep doing more comedy stand up, and it just kind of, you know, just evolved.
So I just want to ask you, Deece, who is your favorite comedian? Who is somebody that you idolize as a comedian?
My favorite comic of all time is Norm Macdonald.
It's basically the perfect choice.
He's was the goat in my opinion, and like I get it. People don't understand him in like his brilliance, and like what he was doing, like trolling people sometimes too. But the guy was so fun. I mean, the guy got fired from Saturday Night Live because he just wouldn't stop calling OJ Simpson a murderer, and like
Yes.
and eventually this guy, one of the big like executives or sponsors of the show, was friends with OJ, and he told Lorne Michaels, he's like, "You got to fire that guy." And Lorne's like, "If you make another joke, I got to fire you." And then he went on that night and just made jokes. He's like, "Fuck it, I don't care." He's like, I'm just gonna." Um,
I think that was the best thing about Norm, was he literally was, "You want to tell me what I can't say? I am going to say it 10 times over."
my one of my so quick side tangent. I have a couple like one of my well, first of all, one of the first early jokes I ever heard that like not that this was the first like a joke that I like figured out the structure of a joke, right? It was Norm on Weekend Update, and he goes, list of top 10 worst jobs in America just came in. Second worst job in America, crack whore.
Yes.
First worst job in America, assistant crack whore. And it was like, and I just remember laughing and being like, that's such a funny, like misdirect, simple joke. But he was just like, he didn't give a fuck. There's this old, you can look it up. There's this old time he was on Star Search way back in the day before he was famous. And you could tell he just didn't want to be there because I'm sure his agent at the time made him do it. He's like, you got to do this show. And he's like, oh, it's fucking stupid. Whatever. I hate this thing. And he just hate fucked the set, right? Like he just didn't. And he goes up there and this whole 5 minutes, all he does is talk about making a stew, right? He's like, yeah, you're gonna make a stew. You gotta take some onions and you dice up the onion and you dice them real small and you put them in the pot and then you're going to get some carrots, right? And carrots in a stew. We're going to have a stew that has carrots in it, and dice with carrots. It's just, this is the whole set, the whole thing. There's no jokes. And then it gets to the end and you see Ed McMahon walk over like, okay, like that was this comedian, like what? And he goes, and he's trying to make conversation with him. He goes, Norm, you're from Canada. What would you say the biggest difference between Canadians and Americans is? And Norm just like not missing a beat, deadpan. He goes, I'll tell you what it is, Ed. It's the shoes. The shoes. And Ed McMahon, and that's it. And Ed McMahon just looks at him, and then you can see him kind of look over like he's probably looking at a producer like, what the fuck do you want me to do with this? It's like one of the fucking funniest scenes I've ever, like I replay it in my head so often because just the look of bamboozlement, like, what the shit am I dealing with right now? It's just, yeah, the guy was brilliant.
Well, fantastic. On that note, Deece, I know we spoke earlier when we kind of were first starting the show that you're going to be great in Conspiracy Corner, and it's time to go there.
Ooh, let's do
even
it.
Even if you don't want to, but we're
Spin
going to go.
the wheel.
Spin the wheel.
Talking about Jews.
I wanna live with a conspiracy girl. I could be prepping the rest of my life with a conspiracy girl.
Those weren't aliens.
Is open here. This is a free speech platform. Okay. Obviously, you made a Jew joke right before we went into the thing. So, and Batman, you just gotta live with it. And we got a spicy. We got a spicy down there in the corner. Hey, but you know what? Actually, before we spin the wheel, I did have a question here.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because Levi Skeen has some inside knowledge, but he's saying, tell us why you love Spokane, Washington.
Well, I am a big fan of fentanyl, so Spokane is my favorite place. The other day, last week was Fentanyl Awareness Week, and I was thinking about it. I'm like, I used to live in Spokane, Washington. I got to tell you, people are very aware of fentanyl there. No one doesn't know about it. Levi, I hate to tell you, I don't love Spokane, Washington. I think it's a cesspool in the Inland Empire that we could do without. It's beautiful.
Is there a Washington Inland Empire?
Yeah, they call it the Inland Empire of the Northwest. It's no, I mean, Spokane's okay. It's okay. It's here's the thing. I lived there for a long time, and when I moved there, it was cheap, clean, and safe. When I left, it was dirty, dangerous, and expensive. And I was like, you got to give me one. Like you can be dirty and dangerous, but you still have to be cheap. If you're going to be expensive, you got to be at least safe or not. So you can't be dangerous and expensive. So it used to be a really great place. Unfortunately, I think it's kind of shitty now. There's beautiful stuff around it. The Northwest is gorgeous, but overall, Spokane as a city has, I abandoned it for a reason.
So do you do a routine on Spokane?
Yeah, I used to talk about a lot. I don't as much I don't really anymore because it's not like ubiquitous. It's not like Seattle where people know about Seattle and know some tropes about Seattle. Like Spokane is not ubiquitous to the rest of the country. Most people think it's pronounced Spokane, and maybe the only thing they know is that Gonzaga is from there. It's Gonzaga University. So like the when I'm in the Northwest, I may do some stuff on it, but it's just because people in that area know about it.
Here, Headless Bourgeoisie says, those three things. It's good dating advice as well.
Yeah, it is home to. Let's see. There's some great things about Spokane. It was home of Bing Crosby was from Spokane, famous crooner and also habitual woman beater. So that's good. That's a good start for Spokane. Let's see. Sydney Sweeney's from there. What we call, let's see. If she didn't have such big tits, you'd notice that she had a lazy fucking eye. You might actually look her in the eyes. And then she's a 6. Stop telling me that girl's hot. Jesus Christ. You can't sell Sydney Sweeney to me. Okay, tits only go so far. And Spokane was also home to Rachel Dolezal, which, if you remember her, she was the lady, the white girl from Spokane, originally from Montana, who pretended to be black and actually was like the head of an NAACP chapter in Spokane. And yeah, she's like goes by some African name that means rain and does OnlyFans. Spokane. Coming up, baby. You're coming up.
All right, Levi, you got your very much requested Spokane stand up, and now it's time for us to spin the wheel. So, cause if we can bring the wheel up, I'm going to explain to Deece how
I
this
just want to win that car.
Yeah. Um, so there's a lot of topics here, Deece.
Okay.
You get 3 spins.
Okay.
And here's how it works. You can choose either topic 1 or 2 that it lands on. But if you take the first spin, you're stuck with it no matter what it is, and you must speak on it. Do you understand how the wheel works?
Hold on, you cut out for a minute. I can spin. I have up to 3 spins.
Mm-hmm. You can choose either topic 1 or topic 2 that comes up. But if you spin a third time, you're stuck with that topic.
If I spin a third time, I'm stuck with that one. Okay, got it.
All right, are you ready to spin it?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, let's do this.
So I click it. So you're spinning. Okay.
Yeah, we're not that technologically advanced.
That's all right. Transgenderism.
Yeah, I'm thinking we'll probably. Yep, that's the one that came up. So you can speak on this. If you even wanted to just say a couple words and spin again, you can do that as well.
Oh, so this is the conspiracy of transgenderism?
If there is one, I don't know. It's just on the wheel.
Is there one? Let's see. I've got some shows coming up in Seattle soon, so I got to pretend like I care. Let's move on from.
Okay. This one is highly offensive, folks.
Spin
it again.
I moved some tickets on Capitol Hill, it turns out. What do we got? Big money, no whammies.
Let's see, are we gonna legacy media? That's one I feel like I do need to update the wheel. But there's legacy media,
Okay. Well, legacy media, the good news is dead. Podcasting killed it, and it's fucking fantastic. I just like that every 80-year-old, and I would like to spin this wheel again because I want to I think we're going to land some great, but I just want to say, I love that everyone will agree with you. Like, because I'm libertarian. I think all the news is bullshit. I think it's all fucking. And I'm like, I'll make fun of the news and how it's all fake and all bullshit. And people will be like, yeah, 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 yeah. And they're all on board until you get to whatever fucking retarded news station they watch, whether it's Fox or MSN or CNN. Then
Yes.
they're like, oh, except, but Fox is pretty good or CNN's pretty good. Like, shut the fuck up. No, they're all fucking. They're the same fucking. They're all bullshit. Oh, you mean the one that reaffirms your stupid, retarded fucking ideas happens to be okay? Go fuck yourself.
That's basically the Facebook arguments. Is like, go back and watch MSN. No, you go back and watch CNN or Fox. You dumb Fox
God.
viewer.
It's crazy. So yeah, legacy
All
media
right.
is dead. Luckily.
All right. Well, I'm really crossing my fingers that we land on something that lights you on fire.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right. This is the final spin. And if I hate it, I'm going to give you a free spin.
Okay. It's your show. You can do it, whatever you want.
Mm-hmm. It's basically why I made a show, is so I can boss people around and boss this wheel around. Mm-hmm. I do like chemtrails and Tartaria. Do you know anything about Tartaria?
No, what's Tartaria?
Oh, God. Okay, if you don't know, it's basically old world, like conspiracy.
Oh, you mean like all those, how when they got to California, there were all those pillars?
Like everything across the world.
Yeah. I don't know enough about it, but if my buddy Traz was here, he'd talk for 2 hours.
You know what? I will, because Tartaria really does, I think. Oh, Bruce, go ahead.
One more time, spin the fucking wheel.
Free spin. We both agree. Maybe that's how we do a free spin. Me and you agree. I like it. Okay. Free spin.
Free spin. Big money, big money, big money. No whammies, no whammies, no whammies. And I was really hoping we land on Bigfoot. Climate change.
You're stuck with climate change.
All right. Well, I will say this, because I was hoping we'd land on Bigfoot. I just want to make one comment. People talk about how Bigfoot is not real because they've never seen it, right? And I was like, that might be true, but I've never seen a Chinese person eat cheese, but I believe anything is possible through our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So climate change. They actually just did a study and found that this one, I think was it just the Antarctic in general, or maybe this one glacier up in the Antarctic actually added ice for the first time this last year in like 10 years or 20, who knows? I don't know.
See, it's that climate, it's fucking changing.
Here's the thing about climate change. Yes, the climate does change. Ask Bruce. He's in Florida. It changes 7 times in a day, just in fucking okay. The thing is, like, we're too dumb to look at we're looking at macro. We need to look at sub micro. They're looking at 10,000 year data samples. We need to be looking at million-year-old data samples or 10 million data samples.
Question though.
Yes.
How the fuck do they know what the weather was 10,000 years ago? Who was writing that shit down?
Yeah, they don't know what the weather is, but they can see, there is certain erosion and certain chemicals in layers that only happen with freeze or rain or show a certain amount of rainfall. So yeah, it's hard to know exactly, but you can. There is some. I mean, allegedly. What the fuck do I know? It's whatever the Anunnaki tell them to put in the news. But it's there is climate change. Climate change is happening, but climate change looks. I don't know how old you guys are. I'm 42. Okay. When I was a kid, I remember everyone telling us that there was an ice age coming, and that's what we had to worry about. It was all ice age, big freeze, ice age is coming. That's what I grew up on. And then one day, sometime around, fucking, I don't even know. I don't even know when
2000s-ish?
around 2000, it was like, it's getting hot. Things are getting hot. I don't know. Nelly said it. Now it's real. It's getting hot in here. And like that was it. And then we just went this other direction. And I think the reality is we need to understand that, with all good fortune, we'll all be speaking Mandarin, then Russia's going to blow us up before it gets too cold. Anyway, who gives a fuck?
Exactly.
That's the reality of the situation, and like, what's a little radioactive activity, right? So we grow another arm. You get a little.
I'm still pissed they took away my Aquanet.
Because
because
it was
ozone.
killing the ozone layer or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, the fucked up thing is here's the real fuck thing about climate change. It's like climate change is real, but again, it's not just warm. It's not global warming. Things are changing, but it always changes. This planet has gone through ups and downs countless times, over its history. The real fuck thing is how they gaslight us into like, what we need to do? We should get rid of cows. Cows are really fucking up. And I'm like, yeah, cows? You mean the thing that's been on this planet since fucking ever? Cows are the thing. Like, you think that's what's actually killing us? Like, no, just what we'll do is we'll get rid of cows and then you guys just eat crickets. What if you just ate bugs and we don't have cows? I'm like, no, you guys are fucking insane. You fucking megamaniacal sons of bitches up there and you're on your fucking goddamn pedophile islands. And then you're like, you guys they actually have this thing they created a while back. It's like the centrifuge that they can actually make these protein plates out of air, right? Like they whip up the air in this centrifuge thing. They creates like this solid, they pull all these proteins out of the air and they're like experimenting on how to make this into food for people.
So like, basically skin cells and
probably, yeah. Like you're trying to get rid of the food. We have cows, No, the cow's farting. That's what's doing it.
Yeah, they want the cows for themselves and they want us to eat their bugs.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. It's like, it literally is, if you read that in like a sci-fi novel, you'd be like, oh, that's fucking nuts. And then it happens in real life and people are like, yeah, we should probably fucking just get rid of the cows, I guess. Yeah.
So think about this. It was originally called global warming.
Right.
For the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Well, not
and now
the last.
All of a sudden it's become climate change.
Right.
Basically, it was the previous 20 years because climate change has been the thing for I think the last 20 years. I think that's
right.
been
the
thing.
So 20 years ago, prior to,
yes,
it was global warming.
Right.
What was it? Who's the guy that they claim created the internet? Al Gore?
Gore, yeah.
Yeah. Also went on his climate change, his global warming kick for a while. I'd like to know who was paying him off for that.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's all just an industry, And like again, we are changing, but this world, we have to realize we'll be gone and this earth will still be here doing what it's doing, for long after humans have fucking killed each other. Like we need to just get over that fact that we are not that special and like it's gonna go away and then Earth's just gonna be like, yeah, it's gonna get hotter, something's cooler. I don't know.
We're just another parasite on a living, breathing thing.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't consider us parasites, but yeah, I mean, eventually the ocean will figure out how to turn all the microplastics in the ocean into future fuels for the next species that inhabits the Earth.
Whatever happens next, but I mean, if you look through history, there's more and more evidence showing that humanity in some form or fashion has risen and fallen more times than they know, that we've come into some form of technology and then been wiped out, like the Younger Dryas impact. They think that there was civilization to a certain point when that happened. And then we got down to like a couple thousand people and then came back, built back up. And they think that those civilizations had technology, to a certain point. And then Like there's fucking maps. There's maps from like the long before they ever discovered Antarctica officially, with Antarctica on the maps. Like there's maps older than from like 1600s, 1700s. And I think they didn't discover Antarctica till like the 1840s or something like that, 1820s, something like that, sometime in the 1800s. And there's maps older than that of the world with Antarctica on the maps. Like there's so much we don't know about what happened before. And, we're proving that now, where you can just kind of erase history because you have the power and you want to control the people in power, or want to control the people that you're subjugating. So
Right.
So I just want to say we've come full circle to your first spin pitch.
That's
was
what I was
Tar-
just going to say.
which is what did I talk about? Killing
The Tartaria, you're talking, you're talking about the old maps and like, how was this, on old maps before it was this? I'm like, he's talking Tartaria now,
Oh, see,
or
I
yeah,
had
New
electric
World.
long
Yeah.
before Elon Musk was a twinkle in his daddy's eye.
yeah. It's so I mean, it's just bigger pictures, and people are so stuck in their. This is going to turn into like my Newsmax expose, but like people are just so stuck in their echo chambers, right? And they have their news and media, and that's it. And like, there's no exploring from there. But there's so much information stuff out there that's really at least deserves to be looked at and questioned.
You know what? Just kind of on that note, because I have, I believe, even though we don't have our mainstream media sources that we can trust anymore, you do find people on, sneezing.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah, bless you. And though now we find the people that we trust online to kind of be like, okay, I'm going to watch you a lot because I'm trusting what you're saying and I like what you're doing. Do you have those people, and who are they?
Yeah, well, I actually, so I mean, as far as news sources, like I actually think like the AP isn't bad as a news source. They're generally pretty neutral. I like news sources from other countries, like Al Jazeera, I think is better as a news source. There's a lot of on like what's his name? What's his first name? Greenwald, who's like
Glenn.
Glenn Greenwald is an independent reporter. Crystal and Sagar on Breaking Points. There's people, and those are two people with opposing points of view who really offer like interesting insight. The problem is, here's the problem with all that stuff, is that it's all, even when they're independent, it's still based on them having to make money and pay a mortgage. And everyone always eventually becomes the man, like, so legacy media dies and these independent media becomes in power, and it just backfills, and they become the new thing that is eventually corrupted. So it's not a perfect system, because anyone you're listening to now that you trust is going to be full of shit in 5.5 years, right? Like, I don't think there's a way to keep any of it pure is the problem. I think there's just too much. I just think there's too much money and pressure in it. I think you'd have to be a very strong individual to not have some sort of bias in it all.
All right. Well, thank you for bringing us down again, and it's time for us to leave Conspiracy Corner.
Okay. All right.
And bring it back up a notch, because we are going into our last segment. It is called Flip City Branded, and I picked something that we did it last week with another person, but it fits perfectly into your story, because you've got a vigilante that wants to die. That's why he became a vigilante, right?
Yeah.
Basically, suicide by vigilantism.
Yep, you got it.
All right, so I picked a piece of Flip City content for you to read, and this is our Consumer Reports. It's our guide to the best and worst suicide machines, and you're going to do a little bit of reading for us tonight.
Okay.
All right. So this was this was something we published back when Canada was talking a lot about, assisted suicide, legalizing that and shit.
Mhm.
And it's still quite funny. So I have 4 suicide machines here, and
Okay.
you're gonna just pick one to read about.
All right.
All right. So here they come. We've got Swanson Together, the Singling Songbird, Gurkland Chillpod, or the Allegro Achievers Series Masterclass.
Oh man. Yeah, the Singling Songbird sounds like a gay sex move. Uh, sounds
you'll never know unless you read it.
uh, I think we're gonna do the Gurkland chill pod though.
Oh, very nice, very nice. This goes along with talking about climate change, actually.
Okay.
All right. Can you see it?
Yeah. Yep. So okay. Uh, this Costco exclusive reliable import from Germany offers high quality at a low cost. A hallmark of Gurkland products, the Chill Pod is the first model if you have a bummed out teen or young adult ready to pull the plug. Capsule features a cozy, pillowed interior that also accommodates one small pet. Pod doubles as a photo booth, and designer earbuds help the departing check out to his or her choice of millions of tunes via Spotify Premium. The Chill Pod is mass produced in an exciting range of interior exterior style options. Choose from urban hip hop, Bad Girl Kitty, metalcore, or Marvel superheroes. Increasing your follower count is critical in life or in the afterlife. So the Chill Pod offers web broadcast capability to stream the big event on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. If you've got to go, you can at least rack up some record likes, and follow along the way. All broadcast monetization rights reserved by Gurkland International Products Incorporated. Termination method, unbearable boredom. Power source, system runs on a combined natural gas, electricity, and dash hose. Self-immolation cycle reduces pod to a pile of ashes in 90 minutes. Features, tinted privacy glass, post-mortem makeup misting system conceals visible acne. Performance, Chill Pod is slow to warm up and frequently sluggish. Unit emitted persistent error codes indicating that it hates us and we are ruining its life. Rating, 2 out of 5 stars.
All right. So it's not, you didn't choose top of the line.
I'm Catholic. We don't deserve the best. I told you that.
Yeah, the Gurkland Chill Pod might be a good choice for you
Yeah.
when your stand-up career inevitably, fails.
That's nice of you to assume it hasn't already. Very generous of you to call it a career.
Hey, by the way, just so you know, you are now Flip City branded, and in the future, you will be invited back to our party streams, and they are very, very fun. So look out for those invitations, sir.
All right.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up for tonight, but what do you want people to do for you? All 43 people watching right now.
43 people, guys. Number one, I would love for you to give me a follow on inferno.earth on Instagram. Trying to build our following. We're doing more convention whoring as we talked about. So having bigger followings helps you get into bigger and better conventions. So please go follow on inferno.earth on Instagram. You can also buy Kill Stand number 1 and number 2. Just DM me on Instagram, or you can go to our website and go to the shop, and you can pick out your covers you want. We'll ship them to you directly. It's a great book. Number 3 is coming soon, but give a follow on Instagram. And you can also follow me on Deece.comedy on Instagram. That's my comedy page. So you'll get all my updates there. Also trying to get more followers as always. So help me out there. And if you want to see a comedy show, go to deececomedy.com. All my dates are up there, or on the Instagram. Honestly, I'm more active on Instagram now. Who uses websites anymore? That's so 2010.
Or even emails anymore.
Yeah.
Everything's done in DMs.
Oh yeah, slide into my DMs, people, non-binary, they, them, zizzers, and Go to check out the dates. I'm all over the country doing comedy, bringing laughs. I also have a special out there called Not Your Cup of Tea. You can get the full 1 hour download of the special. Right now we're doing a deal on the website. You do have to go to the website for this. Go to deececomedy.com, click the Not Your Cup of Tea link. It'll take you to a donation page, and you can pay whatever you want, and we'll send you a full the digital download link of the full 1 hour video special. You can pay whatever you want. Most people pay like $5-10. You can even pay $1. It's a dick move, but you'll still get it. Also, I think that's it. I think that's all the words.
Well, and check out Kill Stand too on Kickstarter.
Well, the Kickstarter's over.
I thought people could still
You can
purchase
still
over
go.
there.
You can still. Yes, you. I should say, if we do still have late pledging, you can pledge late on the Kickstarter and you get books, but it costs more. Just go to the website or DM me directly, and we'll figure it out. You'll pay less,
Do
and
that.
I'll make more of the less money.
Now I know I was pulling the dick move all night, dropping that link.
Oh, it's okay. It'll get people to my information, but you can, but it's just more steps, and you'll pay more, and then they take more of that money that they pay me. So it's worse all around. Just DM me on Instagram or go to Inferno.earth, our website, hit the shop, and all the covers are up there, and you can check out and pay however you want, and we'll ship them to you.
All right, very good. Thank you so much, Deece, for hanging out with us tonight. It was a great time. Like Vulcan said at the very beginning of the stream, he knew it was going to be a fun one, and it really, really was. So, Bruce, what do you want people to do?
Like, subscribe, ring that bell, and oh wait, you mean where they can find me? Yes, okay, sorry.
Well, but first, and then you can find me.
Like. So if you care to follow me, you can catch me here every Thursday night on Creative Chaos with Christy. But then there's also Sunday nights, 7 p.m. Big Apple time, 4 o'clock Avocado time. We do a show called Three Beer Men where we talk about pop culture, technology, and beer. All right? You catch us there on Pill. And if you want to check us out in other streams, go to 3, that's the number 3, beermen.tv. And you can see us on any of those platforms we offer there. So check us out.
Fantastic. And you guys, as far as Flip City Magazine is concerned, we are launching a campaign on May 16th for volume 25. Volume 24 has already been sent to the printers. It's on the way to us. So if you back that campaign, it will be in your hands soon enough. But the big thing that we've got going on right now is we have our poll running to vote for your favorite celebrities' true essence reflected back to them. And that is at themeg.tv. Go check out that poll and go vote. The winner is going to get a quarter-page ad run inside Flip City Volume 25. And you guys will get more information about our campaign next Thursday on Creative Chaos. Join us then. My guest is going to be American Bandit, which this is going to be super cool because American Bandit is a graphic designer that has done a lot of work with the White Rose Project. If you don't know what the White Rose Project is, you were kind of sleeping during COVID. I mean, I understand why people were sleeping during COVID, but they were really kind of pushing back through sticker campaigns and grew rather large back during the COVID era. So join us next week to hang out with the American Bandit. And I believe she's coming masked because anonymity is a thing for certain people out there. So join us next week, same time, same place. That is the Flip City Magazine channel across a ton of platforms on the madness, all that kind of good stuff. So we will see you guys next week again. Thank you so much, Deece. And this is when we wave.
Nice.
Bye. Or do, yeah, that too.
Okay, class. List everything insensitive, exclusionary, bigoted, nationalistic, misogynistic, and offensive that you can find in history's great myths and legends. Extra points for suffering panic attacks or emotional outbursts. Fact check every opinion against the lived experience of your comrades and allies so you can avoid forming a criminal opinion. Scrutinize it cover to cover. Wrongthink, misgendering, dead naming, misinformation, microaggressions. Leave no page unturned.